Thank you for joining us for 3Bs on the Law podcast, hosted by Trisha Barita, Camille Canali, and Susan Dawson. Disclaimer, this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only, not meant to provide legal advice, and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Also, remember, laws change or they differ by jurisdiction, so this is not a substitute for seeking legal counsel in your jurisdiction on the current law applicable to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. We are very excited for our special guest today, Otto. He is the director and founder of a very special company called Ellebana. And we are excited to talk to you about the experience you had expanding into the United States with your business. Not only that challenge, but also during the COVID pandemic and shutdown. So Otto, could you tell us a little bit about your company and the history and what you do?
Yes, of course. Susan, Camille, and Trisha, thank you very much for having me. Huge honor to be on this podcast with you today. And look, it's been a very interesting journey for Elleebana over the years. My history in the beauty industry does go back some time now. I've been working in the industry for about 2 decades. I started doing makeup artistry and training in beauty therapy at my mother's college in Australia. She was a pioneer in the industry and taught many thousands of students. And I was one of those students myself, straight out of high school. And then I went on to study personal care formulation, cosmetic chemistry, business studies, all those sorts of things. So essentially I'm a brand builder, but I have worked in the industry and I'm quite hands-on with doing treatments as well. So I'm an educator with eyelashes and brows. We specialize in eyelash extensions. Lash lifting is our flagship product, which we've formulated ourselves. And we do hair coloring products as well for lashes and brows. So, we've been doing this for a long time. Started in Australia and we set up a distribution network here. And that just grew and grew. And then the growth of the internet, social media just connected countries more and more. I used to jump on a plane. I'd go over to all the expos around the world as much as I could that's what you did in the old days, right? You jumped on a plane, you went overseas, you saw the people talking at the events, you kind of made connections that way. And then you brought something back to your country and you said, wow, I found something overseas and this is this new product. And then you sell that in your country. Now you just jump online and you can go to Alibaba or something and you can just make your own products and you can just become a brand, overnight and be selling things. So everyone's so connected now. I mean, obviously there's a lot of work involved in being successful in what you do. But yeah, for us, we have been very lucky to just keep working away on our dream and vision and expanding on our product ranges in the lash and brow realm. And then we expanded around the world due to social media. I started bringing on social medias, speaking at a lot of events around the world. I'm a judge at eyelash extensions competitions, and I speak at a lot of conferences talking about the technical aspect of lash treatments and the products that we use and the techniques that we use. So I've been doing that for quite a few years, and every single event I started working at, I just had people coming up saying, who's this guy from Australia talking about eyelashes? That's strange. What do you do for a job? And so I basically I think that was my niche, funnily enough, and it's really helped me a lot because, I'm very passionate about what I do, but I was able to, make a connection with a lot of stylists and educators, distributors, people around the world. And, every event I did, I had somebody come up and say, Otto, I really love what you're doing. I love what you're talking about. Can I be a distributor for you? Can I work with your products and work with you? So many, many years of hard work working with the right people. But, we have been able to grow this brand to now having distributors in 60 countries around the world. And we are based in Australia. And that was a pipe dream. Years ago, it was kind of impossible. I said, one day I'm going to actually export products from here around the world. And I think everyone in my office just went, you're crazy. You're not going to be able to do it because it's too expensive. And, we've just been able to do it. And I think it's a lot of factors that have made that happen. But here we are today. And yeah, I mean, it's a long journey. And then, of course, the expansion in the USA, which I could go into a bit if you've got any questions on that.
Yeah, that's the big question, right? What is it like
Yeah.
new business in the USA?
Yeah, look, and this story could go on for a long time. I know you've got a short time on this podcast, but we expanded in the USA. I started exporting products to the USA about 9, maybe even 10 years ago. And we were selling very small amounts, but we started growing bit by bit. And we had a couple of people that, we worked with, some distributors. And then I decided to ramp up the education there. I brought on some more people, and worked hard building the momentum of all of that. And then, we certainly learnt a lot along the way there. Some things didn't work out with some of the people we were working with. We had some challenges for the best interests of our customers. We had to make some big decisions. And then I ended up setting up a company there during COVID. And Susan, you helped me and your team very much during that process. And that was a super big challenge. Stuck here in Australia, I'm usually able to just jump on a plane, go over to the States, set up things, talk to people face to face. But, we had to make this project happen straight away. There was an urgency to it. So we went about setting up the company. I used an affiliate company, NN Road, which helped me set up the foundations of the company over there. And then, of course, we worked with you and an accountant firm, and we got the wheels in motion and set the company up. Getting a bank account while you're in Australia and not being able to go in was just a huge challenge. We managed to find a bank that would trust us and work with us. So we got that going. And we got a warehouse in Chicago, and I've never even been to Chicago yet. Now, I've been to the States a few times, never been to Chicago, but we did have a couple of people there that we trust with our lives that are amazing, and they're now our general managers of our company in Illinois. And we have been able to work together and create an amazing business there. So the company has been running now for 18 months or so, and it's just going, from strength to strength, I guess is a great way to put it. Sales going really well, and we've been able to make some changes so that our customers are getting a better service there. The educators are getting a better service. We've been able to implement all these really good strategies and plans, and everything is going fantastic. So, of course, there's always challenges along the way, but that was a real eye-opening experience for me, setting up a business in the United States on the ground during COVID. It was kind of something that we thought was almost impossible, but with the help of the right people, we've been able to do it, and it's actually a real success. And of course, Australia is now opening up, and we're able to travel freely internationally again now. So counting down the days. So I'm going to be flying over to Chicago very soon. I'm going to avoid the winter, though. I'll try and avoid the winter, right? I live on the Gold Coast, so it's super warm here. I kind of live in this tropical paradise where we have a factory, we produce products here, but I'm very much a beach person, but I love cities and did a lot of traveling. So yeah, we'll be in Chicago, hitting the ground next year, and we're doing a lot of work at exhibitions. We do the Chicago exhibition, we do the Las Vegas exhibition, we do a lot of classes with our trainers all around the United States. There's a lot of things that we're doing, but if you enlist the help of the right people, you can really make things happen. And it's been incredible.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you could probably write a book about that, because that will be interesting to people, especially because it'll never happen, hopefully, again for a long time, where you're literally trying to go through that experience during a pandemic. So congrats to you. I'm sure many people tried that and it did not work out last year, as many people try to start businesses here in the US, and we're Americans, or at least here on visas or something, and they struggled. So congrats to you. That's a huge success to get that going. My question is, if you've never been to Chicago, and one of the reasons we have this podcast is because the laws in my state of Texas are different than the laws of California and the laws of Illinois and, of course, of New York. If you've never been to Chicago, one, why did you pick Chicago? And two, did you learn anything interesting about American law while you were trying to do this versus your own law there in Australia?
Oh, yes. And this is a really long conversation. I'll break it down. Chicago, we did have a few options of people that we could work with because we had a distribution sort of network already through the USA. But we had a group of people in Chicago that we just thought would be the best fit for the type of business model and company model that we needed to go with. So we just kind of went on a hunch. We went with these girls that just really believe in the brand. They see our vision. They understand what we need to do to, service our customers in the right way. And we know that taxes are higher in Illinois than other places. We know there's different challenges compared to some of the other states. But personally, we just went with our hearts, and I know it's a bit of a crazy thing to say with business that you just follow your heart. You've got to have a business plan, you've got to have a strategy, you've got to crunch the numbers. And we did do that, but we also knew how important it was to have the right people in the mix, because without that, things really do fall apart pretty fast as well. So that was kind of the reason why we picked Chicago. And then when it comes to the law side of things and the contract side of things, obviously we've worked with your team very closely on setting up the right kind of contracts and systems and the right kind of structure, I guess, to have people on your team. So contractors in different states and then employees in Illinois. So we've got a mixture of how we structure the people that work with us, and that we follow those guidelines basically to work in the best interest of the company and from a profitability point of view and also a flexibility point of view.
Well, next time I'm suggesting you start with Texas. So the next company, I'm a big advocate. I want you to come on down here and check it out. We'll show you. Yeah. There's less taxes. There's a lot of cool people here. Elon Musk came here. Come on. All right, I'm throwing my hat in the ring.
Sold. And I know Texas is a little bit probably more my climate.
Absolutely.
America, it's just one of those fascinating countries. There's just so much going on there. You've got so much of everything. You've got, obviously different climates, but, just so many cultures thrown into the mix there. It's such an exciting place. Can't wait to get back there.
Did it surprise you how different the laws were from state to state here, or is it the same in Australia between the different states or territories that you guys have?
Oh, it's no, it's a lot more intense in America. I'll say that. There are different laws in Australia from state to state, certain guidelines, but it's very streamlined in a way that, there's slight adjustments to tax rules and things like that. But across the board, it's very similar, I feel. And it's very easy to sort of move from state to state. You could, if you set up a business in a certain state, you need to register it in that state. You need to obviously, file your taxes, and all those sorts of things are kind of the same. But what was so different is the rate of taxes and things in the USA. It feels like each state is its own little country, and sometimes in the way they have different guidelines and different laws, it is really different to Australia. So we, really learned a lot, and it was very eye-opening. Obviously putting together different types of contracts. We have contractors that work in California, and we have some that work, New York. We have some that work in Chicago. We have people that work in Texas, across a lot of different states. And we did have to fine tune and tailor those contracts to meet the needs of the contractor's requirements and also the company's requirements in those states. So, it was a huge learning curve, and something you definitely need to, well, for myself anyway, being from another country, we needed to enlist the great services of you guys to help us with that. And since we've done that, it's great. It's so important that you have your systems in place and that you have those contracts in place to do everything right, because there's nothing worse than sort of getting down the track. You've got the ball rolling and things are happening in a business, but you haven't set it up correctly. And then it's very difficult to undo something when it's already rolling along, So setting up your systems first is a huge part of having a successful business and company.
I'm so happy to hear that, because a lot of times people don't come to us until they're already in trouble. And so I got to tell you, it's a lot easier to help someone up front and get them set up properly. And while it doesn't avoid every problem, it avoids a lot of them. So really, my hat's off to you for doing that strategic planning in advance. I think it should be a lesson to all business owners who want to expand.
Yeah, that's right. And I tell you what, we have learned the hard way as well. Being in business 25 years, the company's actually been going. I've been in it for 20 or so. You do make mistakes along your journey, and that's how you learn. But I'm sure it's one way of learning, but you certainly learn quick when you make that mistake, and especially the worse of a mistake it is, you really have to rectify and get planning. And, but it's been very, very helpful and very organized, and also comes across well to your contractors or the people that want to work with you. Being organized, you represent yourself well from a business perspective, and they feel confident in working with you too, because it's more professional. It's really important.
Yeah. So I have actually a little bit different question about your marketing strategies here. Mm-hmm. Do you have to use different strategies with social media? Here, I know a lot of, especially fashion, like the eyelashes, makeup, a lot of YouTube videos are here, a lot of Instagram. Do you have to change your strategy from Australia to the United States?
You know what? We probably fine tune a few things, but across the board, the beauty industry is really, it's all over social media. Instagram is the go-to for showing technique with products and showing off the beautiful results that you get with products, and great information that you can give to your followers to, get them on board. Our products are very education based. We sell to professionals in the industry, and we do have a few retail products, but because we're selling to professionals, we're doing educational videos, showing technique, showing off the results of the products, showing how to maximize your productivity, profitability, all these kinds of things. So our marketing campaign is very educational based. We don't, funnily enough, spend a lot of money on Facebook ads or anything like that. We are doing a little bit, but this whole time we have hardly ever done Facebook ads. But we do have a lot of ambassadors and people that will be showing how to use the products. But YouTube is huge for us. Instagram, we do use Facebook. Social media is huge. And we are also doing a bit of marketing through media outlets such as print magazine. We still do a bit of print media. I'm always a fan for trying to get a front cover and writing blogs and editorials. So we do still dive deep into that arena, and we are finding a lot of the print media companies are now going digital media as well. So you do get that reach across those platforms, but it's a similar kind of strategy, across the board. But we are doing things. America's such a huge kind of diverse market. There's a huge Spanish, culture there, for example. So we have translated all of our manuals into Spanish, and we've done online Spanish courses and things like this as well to really diversify and, be able to work better, I guess, in those diverse markets.
Yeah, that's really interesting and very cool, the diversification, because, some companies are scared to go there and try to figure all of that out, because certainly translation, everything. And Spanish is one of those languages. There's a lot of different dialects for it. So trying to figure out which way to do it and getting the right people to translate it for you so that it all comes across in the broadest way possible. So that's very cool. We wanted to ask a little bit about this COVID pandemic situation that you were in and trying to do this in America. Obviously, you couldn't fly over here. Is there anything that you learned from that experience that you would pass on to another business owner, if they had difficulty, say, being able to come over here for some reason, whether it be a pandemic or some other reason that they weren't able to travel, and how you do it long distance.
Yes, of course. Yeah, NN Road was the firm that we used, and they did make the process quite good to be able to set up a company internationally. And now I'm sure there's quite a few people that do this, but they were the ones that I researched and found. The price was quite reasonable. They were fast to work with, and it was quite a seamless project to get the actual company registered. From there, we then had to open a bank account. Now, it's a tricky one to do that when you aren't a permanent resident in the country. Generally, you need someone that is a resident there that is able to be able to sign on the bank account as well. But we have found a bank that was able to allow us to do it because we do have the company registered, and we also have a lease there with a warehouse, and we're employing people. So we were able to provide enough evidence to them that we are a legitimate business, and that we could obviously establish that. And that's huge because we need to be able to have the control. It's me being a business owner. I come into my office every single day at our warehouse here in our factory here, and I love to talk to all of my team. And I go around to the different departments. What are you guys working on today? How are you guys going today? What are you up to? I just check in with everyone, just see how they're going, and just have the communication and keep that face-to-face communication there. But in America, we don't have that. Now, we are doing regular Zoom meetings, video meetings. We have a group chat that we're just continuously talking to each other every single day. So the communication is really important. You need to have these people that you can trust, though. But once you've set up an account where you can obviously control the flow of the financials, that allows you to have a little bit of security there, but you do need to take steps to keep an eye on what's happening. So obviously, there is remote tracking that you can do for remote workers, systems that you can use there. And also, it's good to have cameras set up in your facility so you can actually have a look and see what's happening, see any productivity there, see it, refer to anything if there's an issue. You do need to kind of think ahead on those things as well. And a lot of trust goes on. When you have a business in another country and you're not able to be there all day, just coming in and checking on the productivity of what's happening, you have to trust the people, but you have to stay strong, and you also have to have a good plan and, just work as a team, have good communication, have some clear goals and guidelines. And business is tough. It's not always a walk in the park. Everyone's not going to agree on the same thing on some days on what the best decision might be for the company and where you need to go. Obviously, the boss makes the final decision, but you've got to navigate your way through those relationships. I think is a huge one, and that's been my strength in the company. Is I am a relationship builder as well, a networker, a brand builder, and a product developer. But I, really nurture those relationships and dig deep to try and make it rewarding for everyone that's involved as well. And, there's so many elements to this. I could really go on forever. But, we've done it because we've got a team there that we can trust, and we got the foundations right. We got the contracts right. We worked with the right firms, right legal team, accountant team, and the financial team, and then of course your logistics team on the ground doing the ordering, the stock, getting the stock being received, and obviously all the administration management. We do so much over there with our team of people. We have, I think it's around 70 trainers that some of them are contractors for us. And, so there is a lot of management. We have over, I think it's around 40 distributors as well. So a lot of those people need clear communication, regular communication. There's a lot of updates on products and things that we're doing, new education that we're doing. So it's a lot of work. It's not a 4-day work week at Ellebana, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like what I'm hearing is communication and trust are very key to operating any remote workforce, but especially if you're in an entirely different country during a shutdown and you can't get to your facility. I am just so thankful that you came on to talk to us today. This has been great. I think we could go on and on and on and just talk more, because it's really fascinating to hear your perspective. We don't get to hear from others' perspectives on what it's like to do business here very often. So, Otto, thank you so much for joining us today. Well, yeah, it was great. So thanks again to everyone listening out there. See you next time on 3Bs on the Law.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast of 3Bs on the Law. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. We also welcome any comments. If you'd like to get in touch with us or suggest a future topic, you can email us at 3THREEBsonthelaw@gmail.com. And because we're lawyers, we need to remind you that this podcast is not meant to provide you with legal advice and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Thank you again for joining us, and have a great day.